Hello guys, and welcome to another video. Today we'll be discussing about arrays in C. Now, what are arrays? Arrays are basically a collection of data into one variable. Now, suppose if we want to declare a variable, or we have a data of multiple numbers, and so what usually what we had to do is that we had to declare a variable for each number. But with array, what we can do, we can declare a single variable, and with that we can have all the collection of numbers in that array. Now, to declare an array in C, we first define the data type. Suppose we have an array of integers, then we define our variable name. Let's make this array, and then we define the length of an array. Let's define this for now 10. Now to assign values to each index of an array, we always start from 0, and then the ending point of an array is always n-1. Suppose you have an array of size 10, so it will start from 0 and go to 9. The 10th value will be null, meaning that we won't use the 10th index because our array size is 10. So the index will always go to n-1, 0 to n-1. Now let's start filling up our arrays. Array, let's start from the 0th index. 0 equals to 1. Let's copy this. Let's copy this again. Paste. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Just update the index now. 7, 8, 9. Okay, so now let's just change the numbers here. Let's make this 11. Let's make this 111. And let's make this 2. Let's make this 22. Let's make this 222. Let's make this 3, 33, 333, 4, and 4. Now, in order to print the array, suppose we need to print the 6th index of an array. I think this is an extra bit of array I have here. Sorry about that. Okay, let's leave it as is. Now, suppose I need to print the 6th index of an array. So we'll do it as we print any normal variable, like printf %d and the array variable with that index 6. Now let's try running this on our compiler. I'll copy this code. Let's start a new file here, empty file. We'll name this arrays. I'll start my header file. I'll initiate my program. Now here's our code. Now see, we have to print the 6th index of an array having the value 3. Let's see if our code runs correctly. As you can see, we have 3 over here. Now, suppose if you want to print all the elements of an array, we can do it using the printf statement over and over again. But what if we have a huge array that has a size of probably 100 numbers or probably 1000 numbers? To do that, we can use a loop, and we can iterate over the elements of an array. So let's start with a for loop. Please note, it's up to you whether which loop you want to use. It's up to you. If you like using the while loop, you can do it using the while loop. If you like using the do while loop, you can use the do while loop. If you like using the for loop, you can use the for loop. I personally use a for loop mostly. And I equals to 0. Sorry, we'll declare a variable before entering the loop. So we'll declare int I over here. We'll initialize int I is equals to 0, then I less than. Now here we know that the array has a length of 10. What if we don't know the array's length? So we can use array.length. I plus plus, and then we can enter our loop. And now let's just print our array elements. %d array I. Now see, I have declared a variable I with a value of 0, and then I have passed the variable I in our index on our index place. So at every loop it will update the value of I, and it will point towards that particular index of an array. Now let's try running our program. Wait, I'll just add a \n here so every element moves to the next line. Oops, we have an error here. Okay, so as we can see, the array.length does not work here. So for now we'll just use the size of the array, that is 10. Please note, we will always use less than sign with the size of an array. We won't use less than or equal to, because if it points towards the 10th array of the element, we don't have a 10th index, so your program may crash. Let's just run this, and as you can see, we have all elements of our array. Now let's try this using a for while loop. I'll initialize my variable here, and I equals to 0 while I less than 10, printf, and then we'll increase the value of I by 1 at every loop. And once again our program ran successfully. So this is how you work with arrays. Now we hard-coded all our values. Now suppose we want to take the input from a user on every index. So we'll remove all these coding, and then we will initialize another variable. Let's remove this as well for now, and let's declare two variables, int I, and let's name our second variable j. Now first we will take input from the user at every loop. So we will declare a loop with int I equals to 0, sorry, int I in the I equals to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. Okay, now we can declare a statement over here. Please enter array element number, and then we can have the value of I at every loop here. And then we can ask for the input at every loop. Sorry about these curly braces. Okay, scanf, %d, an array, ampersand. Please remember, scanf will always have the ampersand sign. Array, and we will point towards I, which will be that particular index which is the value of I. If I equals 0, the array index will point towards 0. And now let's declare another loop to print all the elements that the user enters. For j, let's use j now because we have already used I. J equals to 0, j less than 10, j plus plus. Printf, you entered %d, and then we can have our indexes here with the variable j pointing towards every index. Now let's try and see if our program works. Oops, I forgot a inverted comma here. Sorry, over here. Actually, I do have those inverted commas. Where do I have an error over here? \n. Okay, now let's run our program. Okay, so let's make this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and finally 10. So all our elements now are printed from the array here. So we can also take inputs from the user and store in an array. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Next up, we'll be discussing about multi-dimensional arrays, in which we will be discussing how we can enter numbers in a matrix form. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe for more.